Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're delving into a case that has baffled investigators and haunted a community for years, the strange and sudden disappearance of nurse Sarah Whitfield. It's a story with more questions than answers, a puzzle where every piece seems to lead to another dead end. Sarah Whitfield was, by all accounts, a beacon in her community. At 32 years old, she was a dedicated and compassionate nurse at the local hospital, known for her warm smile and her unwavering commitment to her patients. She was the kind of person you'd want by your side in a crisis. Dependable, calm, and incredibly kind. Friends described her as someone who lived for her job but also cherished her quiet life, enjoying hiking on the local trails and spending evenings with a good book. She had a close-knit circle of friends, a loving family, and no known enemies. Her life was, on the surface, perfectly ordinary, which makes what happened next all the more chilling. The day she vanished began like any other Tuesday. Sarah finished a grueling 12-hour shift at the hospital. Security footage shows her clocking out at 7:05 p.m., looking tired but otherwise normal. She waved to a colleague, stepped into the parking garage, and got into her dark blue sedan. This is the last confirmed sighting of Sarah Whitfield. She was expected at her friend Maria's house for a casual dinner that evening, a weekly tradition they rarely missed. But Sarah never arrived. When 8 p.m. rolled around and there was still no sign of her, Maria started to worry. It wasn't like Sarah to be late without calling. She tried her phone repeatedly, but every call went straight to voicemail. A knot of unease began to form. By 10 p.m., that unease had turned into genuine fear. Maria called Sarah's parents, who also hadn't heard from her. After a few more frantic calls to other friends confirmed no one had seen her, the decision was made. Maria called the police and reported her best friend missing. The initial police investigation started immediately. Officers were dispatched to Sarah's apartment, a cozy second-floor unit in a quiet suburban complex. What they found inside only deepened the mystery. There were no signs of a struggle, no forced entry. Everything was eerily neat. Her purse was on the kitchen counter, but her wallet and keys were missing. A half-eaten salad was in the fridge, suggesting she had been home after her shift, or at least planned to be. Her nursing scrubs from the day were in the laundry hamper. It was as if she had just stepped out for a moment, intending to come right back. The first major clue came the following morning. Sarah's car was discovered abandoned on a remote, unpaved service road about 15 miles from her apartment. The location was puzzling. It was a spot known mostly to local hunters and teenagers, far from any route she would have taken to get to Maria's house. The car was unlocked, and the keys were still in the ignition. Her cell phone was found on the passenger seat, turned off. Inside the car, everything appeared normal, except for one unsettling detail: a single muddy footprint on the driver's side floor mat. The print didn't match any of Sarah's known shoes. This discovery kicked the investigation into high gear. K-9 units were brought in to search the dense woods surrounding the service road. For days, search parties, composed of law enforcement and dozens of volunteers from the community, combed the area. They scoured every inch of the forest, their hopes dwindling with each passing hour. The dogs would follow a scent for a short distance from the car before it abruptly vanished, as if she had simply been lifted into the air. Despite their exhaustive efforts, they found nothing. No clothing, no personal items, not a single trace of Sarah. Detectives began digging into every aspect of Sarah's life, searching for anything that could explain her disappearance. They interviewed her colleagues, friends, and family, creating a detailed picture of her routines and relationships. Everyone said the same thing. Sarah was a private but happy person. She wasn't dating anyone seriously and had no financial troubles. They looked into her work life. Had there been any conflicts with patients or co-workers? Her supervisor confirmed she was a model employee, beloved by staff and patients alike. There were no recent disputes or unusual incidents. Her digital footprint was also a dead end. Her social media was sparse, with just a few posts about her cat and her love for hiking. Her search history and emails revealed nothing out of the ordinary: recipes, news articles, and communications with family. It was the digital life of a completely average person. It seemed that Sarah Whitfield had no secrets, which made her disappearance even more inexplicable. Where could she have gone? As the days turned into weeks, the official investigation began to slow down, but public interest surged. Sarah's case became a fixture in the local news and on online forums. Armchair detectives and true crime enthusiasts began to propose their own theories. One popular theory suggested she may have staged her own disappearance. Could she have been overwhelmed by her life and decided to start over somewhere new? It was a tempting idea, but it didn't fit. Why leave her purse behind? Why abandon her car with the keys in the ignition? And most importantly, friends and family were adamant that Sarah would never willingly inflict such pain on them. Another theory focused on the location where her car was found. The remote service road was known as a place where people sometimes met for clandestine reasons. Could Sarah have had a secret life no one knew about? Perhaps she was meeting someone that night and something went horribly wrong. Investigators pursued this angle, looking for any secret contacts or hidden communications, but they came up empty. Her phone records showed no unusual calls or texts leading up to her disappearance. If she was meeting someone, she had covered her tracks perfectly. Then there was the more sinister possibility: a random act of violence. Had Sarah been targeted by a stranger? Perhaps someone followed her home from the hospital, or maybe she was the victim of a carjacking that went wrong. This theory would explain the suddenness of her disappearance and the lack of a clear motive. The muddy footprint in her car lent some credibility to this idea. Police ran the print through their databases but found no matches. Without more evidence, it remained just another troubling possibility in a sea of them. Years have passed since that cold autumn evening. Sarah's case is now officially a cold case, but it is far from forgotten. Her family and friends continue to hold vigils, keeping her memory alive and clinging to the hope that one day they will have answers. The Find Sarah Whitfield Facebook page is still active, with community members sharing her story and posting messages of support. For the investigators who worked the case, it remains a source of professional frustration and personal regret. They reviewed every lead, followed every tip, but the trail always went cold. The disappearance of Sarah Whitfield is a haunting reminder that sometimes people can just vanish. Her story leaves us with a profound sense of unease. A woman who dedicated her life to caring for others disappeared without a trace, leaving behind a life that seemed perfectly normal. Was it a planned escape, a secret meeting gone wrong, or a terrifying random encounter? To this day, no one knows. The woods where her car was found keep their secrets, and the question of what happened to Sarah remains unanswered, hanging in the air like a ghost. What do you think happened to Sarah Whitfield? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Cases like these are kept alive by public discussion, and you never know when a new perspective might shed light on an old mystery. Thank you for watching. If you found this case as compelling as I did, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel for more deep dives into unsolved mysteries. Stay safe, and we'll see you in the next video.